and of course about people who are involved in all this and music. We are recording our show live on a Facebook group page. Look for Taranaki Foodies with Area 41. Also, we're live on YouTube and on Twitter. We are Olina Williams and Warwick Foy, local foodies and the most FM broadcasters. Hello, Warwick.
Buenas tardes.
I wonder why did he say that? Our videographers today are Oli Foy and Nathan Griffiths. And Buenas tardes came because our guest today is Ricardo Armazabo and Ashley Kemp, people behind Chibi food truck. Hello, guys.
Hello. Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Okay. How about we listen to some music first? What is it going to be, Warwick?
I hope I pronounced this correctly. It's Bam by the Gypsy King.
Oh.
I'm not sure if your mic's working.
My mic, oh, there
Ricardo's mic.
What's Spanish still?
So what we'll do,
shall I put the mic in between them?
we'll just see if can you just tap it really gently like that? I'll see if I can hear it. Can't hear anything, so
Okay, we'll do that mic and can you do this yourself? Just put your mic and come closer and this one move this away so it's moving. So you need to be about 25 centimeters from the mic, and then if you're too far, I'll give you the gesture to come closer. Also, there are situations when people can't stop talking. If this happens to you, just show me this and I'll interrupt you with whatever. I don't think that you will have any problems. You sound very articulate. And
He rambled.
all right. Just come down.
also, if there is any events you're going to participate at the very end, you can talk about them as well. I think it's really good way to kind of prompt people to us what's going on for you. Because I'm sure you participate in lots of events. I've seen photographs.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, due to COVID, sort of cancelled it.
Yeah.
Doing the relay for life.
But we're so lucky because we still can do stuff like that.
Yeah.
At level 2, the shows are all on camp, so I'm so happy to be back to level 1.
I think it would be good to check that. Oh, maybe we got it.
Check what
Just to make sure that
it's connected.
it is dead.
How can we do that?
I don't want to ruin the show by. We'll figure it out.
Or do you want to do it now?
Just yank it around one more time, and I'll turn that one down. And as soon as I can see it's not working, I will put that one up again. Yep.
This is clearly not a New Zealand band.
Who's a Spanish?
But I can hear a lot of similarities to New Zealand
I think
music.
I heard you. So just yanking it around one or two.
All right. Sometimes it's listening, you get caught. So actually bring your microphone back to you because we want to hear this voice. Hello, welcome back to Taranaki Foodies with Area 41. This is Olina Williams, Warwick Foy, and our guests, Ricardo Armazabo and Ashley Kemp, the people behind Chibi food truck. So, such an interesting surname, Ricardo. Where did this come from?
So I was born in Chile. So obviously it's a Spanish name. The history behind it, I know there's a bit of Basque behind it. But yeah, it's a Spanish surname.
Well, everyone knows that I do little research on my guests who come to the studio. So I have read that your name has been mentioned in Encyclopedia Hispanica Americana de Heraldica. So it means that it's some of your ancestors were noble. So did you know something about that?
Not really. But yeah, that would make sense. Being a Melbourne person.
It's nice, it's soothing feeling, isn't it?
Yes, definitely.
So with your slightly tanned skin, with your round face and round eyes, people might take you for a person from another culture. Did you hear something like that before?
I have actually been confused for being Maori quite regularly, especially being in New Zealand. But as soon as they hear me speak Spanish, they totally go away. And yeah, I realised that I'm from Latin America, and Chile is definitely one of them.
Who's the greatest footballer from Chile?
Oh, Sanchez.
Such a popular surname too, isn't it? How did you happen to come in New Zealand?
So I was in Melbourne basically all my life. That's where all my hospitality experience comes from. And we did a bit of research on the food truck scene here and realised that there's not many Spanish or Latin American cuisine, especially down this side of town. So, 4 years ago, I made the decision to sell up and move to New Zealand. So here we are.
To choose New Zealand over Melbourne, it sounds like crazy. You probably was really busy. I've seen photograph you working in an industrial kitchen type of thing. And now you're in a little truck doing fairs and doing events. How does it work for you?
Some people will call that a midlife crisis, but I actually, I've got 15 years in Melbourne shipping. It does take a lot out of you. I work in quite a few establishments, anything from cafes, restaurants, hotels. And yeah, one day the idea got put to me, why don't you start your own food truck? And at first I got upset and thought, with all the experience and knowledge I've got, why would I want to get put in a box? But then when you realise that you can become your own boss and do the food you love and not really answer to anyone and make your own money, the idea became a lot better and something easier to make the decision with.
But industrial cooking is about repetition, it's about finding with the standards and doing the same thing over and over again. But being in a food truck gives you so much more freedom. How do you use this freedom?
Quite wisely. Being a seasonal sort of thing with a food truck. You do festivals, markets, etc. So you can't really make a big menu, for instance. You need to make sure that it's cost effective as well. Being in the industry for so long, you learn how to food cost your menu, what works and what doesn't. So I took that, put it into a food truck and execute it where I can.
Wow, that sounds like the way to do it.
Yeah.
Actually, can you please tell us the history of the name Chibi Catering?
Well, Chibi is obviously Ricardo is from Chile and moving to New Zealand, out of the Kiwi. So yeah, created the word Chiwi.
And also, I've noticed we discussed it before the show that your logo has some interesting picture on it. So what's on the picture?
Right, the logo here is from Easter Island. I think Ricardo can probably tell you more about that, more from his background.
Yeah, well, it's the Maori statue that comes from Easter Island. The island itself is actually owned from Chile. What we realised when we did some research is that Rapa Nui has got a lot of influence from the Polynesian. And that being something that I fell in love with as a child with the history of the East Island and with the statues itself. I made the connection with the two, being Maori and Chile. There's got to be somewhere back in the days where that influence got brought to South America. You just got to look at some of the cuisine, like the hay. We've got a similar dish which is called gulanto, which is where we dig in the ground and we cook with stones as well.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it's something that we definitely as Spanish would never have done. So there's definitely been an influence of the Polynesian. And that's the affiliation that we came up with to create Chibi. And the logo is something that came up with when I wanted to get a tamoko. Friend of ours pretty much heard my story and then he came up with that logo and I loved it. So I said, yep, that's going to be our logo for the food truck. And we've been to Easter Island. I have actually, and I've got a funny story about that. If you've got a second. So when you land in Easter Island. It's one of the shortest runways in the world. The first time I did it, I didn't know this, but like when you land, the whole plane starts clapping. And I was like, what's going on? What's going on? No, it's because it's so short. Everyone starts praying and they're doing the whole something. And when you leave as well, they do the same thing. Everyone's there like this praying. When you get off the island, everyone starts to clap.
They do that in Turkey as well, but I think that's because the planes often crash there, so it's a relief to get down.
Yeah, cultural thing. So, your brand name has the name Catering in it. So how does it balance catering and serving people in the theaters and selling food from the food truck?
Yeah, it's a great question actually, because we do get asked that quite a bit. So Chibi Catering at first it sort of became that just because of the fact that when I came up with the name, I thought there's not many Chileans in New Zealand. And then when we Googled to do the business name, we realised that there's quite a lot of Kiwis, and then we realised that there's a lot of Chinese Kiwis. So unfortunately, we couldn't call ourselves Kiwis, so catering came involved. And we also do offer a lot of private events. We do weddings, birthday parties, and things like that. So we've got a catering package that we do offer as well.
How are you placed among the other competitors? Are you cheap? Are you more expensive? Are you trying to balance the quality and the price?
Yeah, so definitely we're right in the middle range. Like I said earlier, we do take our food costing quite seriously. So we make sure that what we do serve is quality, but it's also worth doing and it's cost effective.
What is the most popular dish people order for catering?
Oh, it's a hard one for me. Okay, for catering, so the paella does sort of tick the box. You do a wedding and you can cater up to 50 to 100 people, even 200. And it's something different. Like it's lunch or it's a dinner. We offer 3 different types of paella, which is a chicken and chorizo, our seafood paella, and we've got a vegetarian mushroom and spinach as well. So it pretty much ticks all the boxes. So when we offer that to someone that's looking at having a wedding, they pretty much go for all 3 and then cover all boxes.
Wow.
Do you have to Kiwify any of your food?
I have, especially in the catering package. Something like the mussel fritter, we serve it on the red one and bread. And just we always add a little bit of Spanish flair to it. Using Kiwi products and local produce. That's sort of where we sort of tend to draw the line when it comes to Kiwi. I don't want to sort of step on anyone's toes. I'm quite respectful when it comes to, especially food truckers. If you're doing Maori food or Kiwi food, I'm doing Spanish, so I'm not going to step on your toes. But at the same time, it's good to sort of mix a bit of the 2 cultures together, come up with my own sort of flair, and hopefully it works.
With your paella, do you have it in a massive pans with a flame under it, or is that the setup?
Yeah, so before we moved over, I had a really good delicatessen over in Melbourne called Casa Iberica. He's known to all the Melbourne chefs, and he imports all the Spanish equipment, all the saffron, all the chorizos and things like that, which I bought all before moving over. So we got the big pans, everything from 10 to 25 serves in each pan, and we've got all the burners that go with it as well, which are made in Spain as well.
This is so Maori, isn't it? It's all about celebration, festivities, getting together, and that's what I like about Maori culture. Very often it's about inclusion and offerings and things like that. So I think it's a good time to listen to our second song,
Which is called Oye Como Va by Santana from the album.
yeah. So guys, is 2 minutes enough for you to bring what you wanted to bring?
We'll try our very best. We'll be really quick.
Are you going to cook?
Yeah.
Oh no!
It's all right. No, it's all good.
We can play 2 songs.
Oh my God. I think maybe someone wrap it around. So are we going to add some vodka to the sunscreen? are you, Maori?
Good. Yeah.
I was going to ask you after the show. Now,
You're in
yeah, after the camera's off, I'm going to ask you. Remind me about
Oh,
it. It is one of the famous. Huh?
yeah.
Yeah. One of the famous songs of Santana.
We'll just play another song to take the heat off.
Yeah.
You know, so it's it's a stepping stone.
But this is really nice of them when they try to make as cold as possible, especially with the pinatas and the churros. They're not tasty when they're cold, so.
I'm not very hungry, unfortunately.
Well, all the efforts is going to be put with some other one. You can drink. I was so glad that multi-ethnic extravaganza was cancelled. There was so much effort put in it. There was people from so many interesting people were involved. Virginia and Warren were going to do reports, the same as you and Liana. You like Liana? Yeah. And yeah. Cancelling it was a major exercise. It took me 2 days to do it with the digital media, and other people contacted everyone who was involved personally. Can you imagine if someone would be missed and just come to the event? Yeah. Yeah. I got some phone calls from people saying that, oh, we've seen you advertising, you're still running, and this is disgusting. And I was like, no, it has been cancelled. It was all over media. Where did you see that?
You live in a cave.
I don't know, maybe there are some leftovers or somewhere else, because once someone shares it, you can have no control over it.
But the ad was pulled off here on Monday, I think.
Yeah,
Pretty quick.
I phoned and contacted both Mark, Christina, and Kerry.
I just love people display their ignorance. Oh, I didn't know. Well, it's in the newspaper, it's online, it's on Facebook, it's on Instagram, it's like out there.
Yeah, a lot of people actually share this through social media.
Yeah.
A lot of people were contacted by telephone, those were direct phone calls. But preparing was hard, but cancelling was equally hard. And a lot of people say that, why wouldn't you postpone it for a week? And I was like, permits?
Yeah.
All the organizations, all the venues have their own timetable. You can't just like move things a week.
So it's cancelled rather than postponed.
You can't postpone because there are so many people involved. It's hard to cancel, but postponing it.
Yeah, great song there. And we're just going to give our chefs a couple more minutes to prepare the Spanish food. So here's a song that came up on my playlist by Stevie Nicks, and I encourage you to listen to the bass line. It's just a magical song. Enjoy.
That's
Listen to the bass. It's just so tight.
yeah, the bass makes something to kind of respond deep inside.
Yeah. Comes in there. Real good.
But it's not too deep, it's not too serious. It's kind of weird.
It's very
Yeah. It's quite dreamy. It's like the dreamy feel around the music. Interesting choice for them. Program which talks about Spanish cuisine and fire.
You see what Don put up?
I think that was my best friend. I hope I'm expecting going to be really, really sad. Yeah. And I wasn't sure whether it was my perception or was I was here thinking, am I actually correct about being not happy about it? Well, now I can't really remember. At the moment, he's complaint about Facebook that
What's so surprising about the Chilean honey?
yes, I didn't know about it.
And he seems convinced that he's from Chile.
Yes, because I'm Asian, the other person came from Asia.
Yeah.
Everything in Europe
Yeah.
came from Marco Polo trip. Spaniards, Portuguese, Portuguese, Norse, yeah, did this. So all this came from Asia originally. I mean, Chinese created paper, gunpowder, so many other things. Paper, yes, the Chinese created paper. I mean, Egyptians did some papyrus, but the paper from the threads of a tree and cellulose was created by. I think they started with the rice paper originally because it really thin and fine, but then they
Ask Tony Living. You know Tony Living plays the stick place?
okay, all right. That's why the song is so good. It's amazing how many different angles the team has to the project.
So you want to play another song or do you want to?
Do not song.
You know what you're talking about?
And that is Stevie Nicks, of course, with the classic from her fourth solo album, which is called The Other Side of the Mirror, Rooms on Fire, and the song was written by Rupert Hine and Tony Levin, featuring on bass, legendary bass player, internationally famous and hugely successful. Here's another classic song while we wait for our chefs to prepare a Spanish feast in a few minutes' time, so I hope you enjoy this one here on Taraki's Most FM.
Did you say Nathan?
Obviously, I'll see work. I mean, you know, one song. Like,
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, I have a file that I just kept songs.
sorry.
No worries, we played another song.
It's the third one. If you want it.
Ooh,
You can open the bottle of vodka.
one.
Vodka. After all, I'm Russian in the genes, so we have to drink all that.
Oh.
Nice.
So we have two official tasters. This is Nathan and Ollie, and they're going to give you a live review about the food. But it doesn't mean that Kiri can't try it. My lovely husband can try the food as well. This is the cheese one. Kiri, you can't have the cheese. This empanadas. Yeah, I drank all his collection during the first lockdown. I was such a busy head. I was totally out of this world. So I had to replace it. And suddenly we discovered that we have friends who own a liquor shop. Wow, everything was delivered to our door. No contact. They just dropped it off and we just served money.
So that one on the side there's got man's chili sauce as well, which is really hot. I wasn't sure if you like spice or not. If you don't like spice, I don't recommend it. It's very hot. So there's Spanish donuts, churros.
Yeah.
Oh, what is it? It's sangria with no.
Some oranges there. If you want to put oranges in there.
Hungry? Yes. Yes. Shall we do with your water?
And it's like, oh,
Do you guys want some vodka with hunger? Yeah. Okay, can you please bring two glasses?
I'm actually alright. Sorry.
Alright.
We're actually detoxing it. So day 5. So.
Welcome back to Taranaki Foodies with Area 41. While you were listening for those beautiful songs, we were waiting for our guests to bring us freshly made Spanish feast. And this is amazing what they brought. So Ricardo, can you please tell us what is on our table?
Yep, not a problem. So we brought up our famous non-alcoholic sangria, which is pretty much great for festivals when it's hot. You know, it's very refreshing. And it's also for the sober drivers as well. We've got our cheese empanadas, which is my Chilean influence in the cuisine. Handmade pastry, filled with cheese and deep fried, served with our fresh tomato salsa. And we've also got there, which I do suggest, it's very hot. It's my nan's chili sauce. And we brought our chicken and chorizo paella, the Spanish rice dish that we have, and our Spanish churros, which
Wow,
is got our chocolate caramel sauce as well.
this is amazing because basically there are 6 people in the studio and everyone having such a happy face. Everyone choose something that they absolutely love. So I believe that you cater for a lot of inquiries because you brought some meaty dish and you brought some vegetarian dish.
Yeah.
How many people actually asking for special diets when they order something from you?
Yeah, so funny enough, gluten-free seems to be one of the things that we realise we get asked for a lot, and hence the paella being on there. It's gluten-free. Everything else has gluten, so it's our only gluten-free option. And vegetarian, so we've got our